GRTS News at 2200 hours with me, Winifred Nicole. In the headlines this evening, President Barrow commissions 33 new buses to improve urban transport services. The Gambia joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Population Day. The Gambia River Basin Development Organization, OMVG, organizes a regional consultation workshop on Phase 3 of the development of its Integrated Development Master Plan. In sports, the Gambia's Gina Bass faces USA's Jenna Pranidi and Jamaica's Sherika Jackson in the semifinals of the women's 200 meters at the World Athletic Championship in Oregon, USA later tonight. And despite Ukraine's outward show of strength and resilience, frontline troops suffer not only physical wounds, but also psychological ones. Well, viewers, those are the headlines. Much for joining us once again. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, Tuesday commissioned a fleet of 33 buses, 4 pickup vehicles, and a truck at a grand ceremony held at the McCarthy Square in Banjul. The fleet was procured through a public-private partnership involving the Gambia Transport Service Company and the Q Group. As we hear in this report by Mamadou Jallo, the buses are expected to significantly address the transport challenges within the Greater Banjul area by providing affordable and reliable services to commuters.
In a major drive to address the chronic transport challenges within the populous Greater Banjul area, the Gambia Transport Services Company, GTSC, procured this fleet of buses to complement its existing fleet. The fleet, which comprises 33 buses, 4 pickups and a truck, were procured through a partnership with Espas Motors, a licensed dealer of Photon and Benz vehicles in the Gambia. The managing director of the Gambia Transport Services Company, C.D. Kanyi, described the launching as a historic milestone that will reposition the public transport utility to meet the growing demands of the people, especially within the Greater Banjul area.
The Gambia is one of the most urbanized countries in West Africa, with over 60% of its population living in the Greater Banjul area. It is in response to this demographic reality that the government, in close collaboration with GTSC, deemed it necessary and timely to roll out this nationally important initiative.
The buses were procured through a public-private partnership between GTSC and the Q Group, which won the competitive bidding process. The Chief Executive Officer of the group, Mohamed Jah, collaboration was mutually beneficial as his company agreed to pre-finance the process over a 4-year period.
Not only that Espas Motors decided to pre-finance the project, but we came out to be the most responsive and competitive bidder. Espas Motors believed in the GTSC and their contribution to society. And we believe in the Gambia government, its leadership and its people. We believe in the Sunyu Boss concept.
The chairman of the board of directors of the GTSC, Salum Malang, said the addition of this fleet will significantly enhance economic development and create employment opportunities for Gambians. The development, he added, is part of the GTSC's drive to restructure and strengthen the company to better allow it to respond to the needs of the public, especially during this challenging period when people grapple with transport constraints.
The GTSC is currently operating only 50% of its capacity because the long-term plan is to deploy a bus every hour, both within and beyond the Greater Banjul area.
In his launching statement, the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, described the event as a historic milestone in vehicular transport in the Gambia, arguing that the development could not have come at a better time, given the transformation of the country's road network and the increased traffic that comes with it.
Despite the government's achievements in this sector, the need to complement road infrastructure development with proper road transport operations is obvious. History teaches that for any country to improve its transport services, public transport services, particularly in urban settings, must be efficient and responsibly managed. This urban transport initiative illustrates the National Development Plan's recognition of the important role public transport services contribute towards the national economy.
Whilst an efficient and effective public transport remains a challenge within the Greater Banjul area, due largely to population density, President Barrow expressed belief that this new investment will significantly enhance movement as government has taken the necessary legal and regulatory framework to overcome these challenges.
My government will continue to address the concerns linked to the increased demand for transport through efficiency improvements, including regular and effective public transport service provision and traffic management measures. Easing traffic on the main road links will take center stage in this respect.
The President also praised the collaboration between the GTSC and the Q Group as evidence of the enormous potentials that could be tapped, encouraging other companies to take advantage of these opportunities to enhance national development. The President later handed the keys of the buses and other vehicles to the GTSC, officially marking the launching of the new fleet. He was later joined by ministers and other officials on a tour of Banjul on one of the new buses, which will now be distributed across the Greater Banjul area. GRTS News.
Well, still on that massive development to boost the urban transport system, our reporter Famara Baji looks at how the new fleet of buses set to ply different routes in the Greater Banjul area will help to address travel difficulties by sounding the opinion of commuters about their expectations of the new buses. We have more of that in this report.
Besides an expensive cost of living and skyrocketing commodity prices, one problem that concerns all Gambians is the challenge of commuting within the urban metropolis. The inadequacy of transport facilities has seeped into every facet of public life, affecting everyone from women to business, students and the civic force who labor daily on the country's roads. It's a problem that the Gambia's government has recommitted to resolving with road infrastructure projects, and this massive fleet launch for the Gambia Transport Services aim at mitigating existing challenges. An effective transport system with viable and interconnecting roads easing movements is a major part of President Barrow's National Development Plan.
With a broader city-state concept in mind, we expect that this project will extend services to the rural area in our drive to comprehensively address the transport challenges we face throughout the length and breadth of the country. The supply credit agreement between GTSC and the Q Group Express Motors through the provision of urban transport services will immensely ease transportation for low-income households.
Recently, we have been under pressure and in a hurry to catch up with an increasing demand for our services. And pleasingly today, we are here to inaugurate our new urban fleet with a strong belief that these buses will provide some answers to this call.
The new buses are equipped with modern transport facilities for optimum delivery of services to Gambians in the urban metropolis, where 60% of the country's population now resides. Commuters say this is a massive sigh of relief.
Since I saw these buses here, I know God has done it again for the peaceful man. These buses are like our 3 daily meals, and that we can't live without. It brings us peace of mind. A poor like me paying different fares is always disturbed. The president is working, and it's in our interest. What we pay for fares is too much. A short distance, we are charged $100. That's painful. And these buses will be beneficial to us and the youth if others emulate.
Geared towards energizing public sector transport to boost an infrastructural agenda in progress, These buses that cost 2.7 million US dollars will be under the care of the country's only formal transport sector, the Gambia Transport Service Company.
Basically for us, our aim and objective is to make sure everybody reach their destination safe and the cost of transport to be at the average Gambian level. As we know right now, transport is never easy, and we believe with these new buses we can provide the best service for our customers.
25 routes from Khartoum to Banjul and other parts of the West Coast region will be identified for use as thousands of commuters prepare to enjoy a new service fleet, easing drudgery in travel across the Greater Banjul area and West Coast region. Farmer Abad, GRTS News.
Away from that now, and to the 17th edition of the India-Africa Conclave, where His Excellency the Gambian Vice President, Badara A. Diouf, this morning addressed the 17th Exim Bank Conclave on India-Africa Growth Partnership on the theme, Creating Shared Futures. The two-day meeting is to bring closer partnership between India and Africa. Dr. Diouf is accompanied by a high-powered government delegation, including the Ministers of Petroleum and Energy, Health, Finance, and Public Service Administration, as well as several other senior government officials. Here is an excerpt.
Has grown over the last 16 years and has witnessed an increasing investment of Indian businesses in Africa because of the reforms undertaken by African countries that has increased business confidence of the continent. The conclave is forging a closer ties between businesses in Africa and those of India. The theme of this edition, Creating Shared Future, which is highly relevant and as it demonstrates the commitment of both parties to promote shared economic prosperity. As we all know, India and Africa have a lot in common, and therefore working together to promote our common economic interests is not a coincidence. India, as a growing economy, has a lot to offer to Africa in the areas of human capital development, technology, investment, and trade. Africa, which has all the A to Z of the multivites of development, has also so much to offer to India and the rest of the world. The relationship between Africa and India presents an enormous opportunity for business, and therefore we need to work together to leverage for that in order to consolidate and promote our shared future. The conclave, since its inception in 2005, has played a pivotal role in encouraging Indian companies to invest and grow their footprints in Africa. The level of economic engagement between India and Africa has undoubtedly grown exponentially in recent years and reflects such growth relationships. And the conclave is being rechristened as the Exim Bank Conclave of India-Africa Growth Partnership, expanding the earlier focus on project partnership. This new dimension of the relationship is designed to support the infrastructural development in Africa for economic development of the continent. With post-COVID recovery agenda and strengthening such partnership should be an important role in these kind of meetings and interaction, with much needed investment in our respective economies for faster recovery and the rebuilding of our own economies. The regular nature of government has restored business confidence and thus resulting in increases in investment in trade, construction industry, tourism, and to some extent, some manufacturing in the Gambia. In 2020, the Gambia export was 38 million, and for the last 25 years, the export of the Gambia to India has increased at an annualized rate of 26.8%, from $101,000 to 38 million in 2020. While in the same year, in 2020, India exported 123 million worth of goods. During 2020, the Gambia has a large net trade with India in the export vegetables production, resulting in 28.7 million, metals 4.07 million, and foodstuff 3.57 million. With continued efforts to strengthening the bilateral cooperation between the Gambia and India, we believe the trade figures can be boosted. In the area of investment, the Gambia has undertaken a lot of reforms to enhance its competitiveness. The government recently reviewed the national trade policy, investment policy, and they are at the tail end of finalizing the Labor Act of 2007.
Well, before moving to our next report, we would just like to say that the chairman of the GTSC board's name is Saliu Malang and not Saliu Manjang, as mentioned earlier during that report by Momodou Jallo. Well, moving on, the Gambia joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Population Day. The theme for this year's celebration is A Wall of 8 Billion Towards a Resilient Future for All, Harnessing Opportunities and Ensuring Rights and Choices for All. Yusuf Bojang picks up the rest of that story.
The primary focus of this celebration is to create awareness about global population issues and the opportunities it presents. This year's commemoration is significant as it serves as an opportunity to celebrate informed conversations around population leading to the world reaching 8 billion people this upcoming November. In his keynote address, the governor of West Coast Region, Usman Bojang, said the theme for this year is crucial and timely. According to him, the landmark in population growth can be seen as a challenge given how it could potentially stretch development amenities, especially health care.
Let us reaffirm and commit our efforts in improving the quality of life of our people. Neonatal, infant, and under 5 mortality levels leave much to be desired, and it is the same for maternity mortality. We must make sure we attain the ultimate goal of the 3 transformative results. As government, I wish to assure you, on behalf of the President of the Republic of the Gambia, our unflinching and unreserved commitment to the continuous delivery and coordination of population programs in the Gambia.
The Director of National Population Secretariat, Mariama Fane, said the day is for the government and stakeholders to reflect on gains made in improving the quality of lives of the populace, identify challenges, and engineer strategic policies.
If you look at the figures for the DHS2, this particular LGA has the highest number of women having begun childbearing between the ages of 15 to 19, and in this particular LGA2, if you look at under 5 mortality in the Gambia, it is highest in this particular LGA. If you look at fertility, it's also the highest in this particular LGA. We also know that from the DHS, looking at childbearing or beginning to bear children very early, it's also affected, or education has an effect on it, as well as poverty levels. Because if you look at those that are educated, within the age group 15 to 19, only 6% of them have begun childbearing, whereas those that have never been to school and are 15 to 19, 36% of them have begun childbearing.
UNFPA representative in the Gambia, Ndeiro Sarr, said the Gambia, like the rest of the world, has steadily grown since the first census in 1963, rising from a population of less than 330,000 in 1963 to 1.9 million persons in 2013 and currently stands at 2.49 million current UN population estimates.
The Gambia population is more concentrated in urban regions. 53% of its population live in the urban areas, and more significantly in where we are sitting today in Brikama, where the population density went from 220 person per square kilometers in 2003 to 396 per square kilometers today. So the data shows us that we need to invest in meeting individual demand for education, health, but also sexual and reproductive health. And we must continue to address women and youth access to basic services, to health, to education, to comprehensive sexuality education, and decent jobs.
The Deputy Chair, National Assembly Select Committee on Health, Fatou Cham, said we must develop unique responses based on data to respond to the needs of the most vulnerable members of our society and mitigate potentially negative effects while harnessing the opportunities that also come with demographic change.
It is our responsibility as people to make the system work for the people of the Gambia, especially women and children. Whatever the number is, because every person deserves a benefit from a more just, prosperous, and sustainable world. We can achieve this by supporting human rights, including individuals, reproductive rights and choices, and by promoting the health and well-being of all. We must anticipate and understand the way our population is changing.
The ultimate goal of development policies and programs are to improve the lives of the population as well as remind and put up task all stakeholders that population and development is the center of attention for a desired progress. Yusuf Bojang, GRTS News.
The Gambia River Basin Development Organization, OMVG, is organizing a regional consultation workshop on Phase 3 of the development of its Integrated Development Master Plan, PDDI. The program is organized with the support of the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, SDC, under the Blue Peace Financing Initiative. Aissatou Keita has the rest of that story.
It remains one of the biggest challenges impeding the Sub-Regional Energy Sharing Initiative, OMVG, as it moves to expand electricity access via energy trading between the Gambia, Senegal, Conakry, and Bissau. OMVG currently draws financial resources for its projects, mainly from contributions of the 4 member states, who are joining forces with the United Nations Capital Development Fund and Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation to consolidate different capacity-building activities and launch the last and third phase of the major regional energy program.
It will interest you to know that Phase 1 and Phase 2 has already been completed. Kudos to the entire management team of the OMVG. And today we are here to work on the scenarios that will lay down the foundation for Phase 3. And basically, it is to utilize the best out of the natural resources that we have, called water, in these 4 regions.
The Regional Consultation Forum aims to define possible development scenarios for the OMVG area, modeling comparative scenarios on hydrological, environmental, social, and economic indicators, defining the PDDI and OMVG innovative project initiatives supported by UNCDF and other partners. The convergence is a key moment in the Blue Peace adventure and elaboration of the PDDI, which will define for the next 20 years orientations, action plans, and resources to facilitate OMVG objectives.
Sambangalo Dam, with the support of the donor partners, which has already been secured as per our information, will soon start the full implementation of the project before the end of the 2022. And that dam, in cooperation of its objective, is to provide an irrigation for about 90 hectares of land. Gambia is going to have 50 hectares of land, and Senegal 40. That's a very, very promising story. We have to start using our natural resources in the best way possible. But this will interest the audience to know that the environmental risk analysis has already been done. The entire donor partners are supporting us to make sure that the risk involved will be minimal. Of course, you cannot work on the natural water without incurring a little bit of risk. But we as human beings and as environmentals must make sure that the risk is very minimal compared to the benefit.
Discussions and recommendations that will emanate from this 3 days convergence will pave the way forward for better discussions in this drive, as preliminary exchanges with key financial stakeholders, including potential investors, have confirmed the robust appetite and interest of energy markets with innovative financing instruments such as the Blue Peace Bond. For GRTS News, this is Aissatou Keita.
Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, in collaboration with UNESCO, on Monday handed over computer laboratory equipment during the launching of the National TVET Policy and Education Management Information System under the KOICA-funded Youth Empowerment Project through TVET in the Gambia. Kejetu Jallo has more.
Gambia Technical Training Institute to a polytechnic university continues with more investments in infrastructure and capacity, such as this laboratory equipment being inaugurated in partnership with the Korea International Cooperation Agency. The acting director, Aliu Seka, underscored the importance of the capacity intervention in promoting quality and excellence in service delivery for both staff and the students. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Claudiana Cole, and Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology Minister, Professor Pierre Gomez, both underscored the importance of human capital development and the role of technical vocational education in addressing national development needs. The focus here is to expand human capital needs through skills education to achieve development objectives.
In fact, our intention is to begin to have TVET from grade 4 of the basic and secondary level. And if we cultivate it at that point, I see no reason why by the time the students transit from grade 9 or grade 12, we won't have a good number of them who would have developed an interest in TVET.
Indeed, if institutions want to deliver on their mandate, the need to provide a state-of-the-art infrastructure, up-to-date data management systems, as well as appropriate human material resources cannot be questioned. Thus, this project is both timely and apt.
UNESCO representative and Korean partners, KOICA, all renewed their commitment in supporting TVET development in the Gambia under the KOICA Youth Empowerment Project, launched in 2018.
Development of a management information system, ensuring to also obtain data from students at the secondary level to identify trends in student pathway. Just current and regular data will allow us, the TVET sector change agent, to make the appropriate decision based on the reality in the field.
Several projects are currently being implemented in Gambia, notably with UNESCO for the reinforcement of the vocational and technical education and training in the Gambia, with youth empowerment through TVET, the Gambia project.
The ceremony ended with a tour of the newly equipped technical lab with demonstrations on the Education Management Information System, EMIS, and formal launching of the TVET policy document. This new technical development project is expected to produce highly qualified technicians to enhance socio-economic development anchored on a robust TVET program for skills education. Khadijatu Jallo, reporting for GRTS News.
The National Seed Secretariat under the Ministry of Agriculture has on Monday begun a 5-day training on distinctiveness, uniformity and stability plus value for cultivation and use. Janki Ture has more.
Seeds is the cornerstone to agricultural productivity and high yields needed to boost food security. This is the first cohort of participants and seed technicians being trained in crop breeding. The training focuses on crop variety measurements, covering distinctiveness, uniformity, and stability, testing seed varieties for satisfactory values before cultivation. The primary objective here is to equip breeders, seed technicians, and VRC members with requisite skills and knowledge to understand characteristics of crop varieties being developed and introduced for proper identification to enhance varietal release, registration, and certification.
This training is to support ECOWAS, UBA, and SEAL member states to update their national catalog of plant species and varieties in the formal agreement in strict compliance of harmonized regulations on the basis of DUS and BCU tests.
This is the first seed variety training, developing 20 participants in a major response to register crop varieties in the national catalog in line with ECOWAS seed rules and harmonization guidelines.
In 2017, it was noted that there is a need to register crop variety species in the Gambia, all the crop variety species that were formally or informally released in the Gambia to be registered in the national catalog so that it will be in line with the ECOWAS rules and harmonization, which will enable the easy trading of seeds in the sub-region.
The program is funded by CORAF, a sub-regional body based in Dakar, Senegal. Its representative, Dr. Yakuba Jao, highlighted the significance of the training and urged government to invest in the sector.
Some of the challenges still remain in the seed sector, and one of the most challenge we have is the long process of the variety release. This training session starting this morning will contribute to strengthening the plant breeders and the national seeds member, and will equip them with technical and guidelines on how to conduct the DUS.
Farmers want good seed. They invest during crop production, so they want to get something out of it. So they want good seed. What does a farmer understand of good seed? It is about performance.
The DUS and VCU testing is a way to determine whether a newly bred variety differs from existing varieties within the same species. As farmers prepare for the rainy season, agricultural officials are moving to engage all necessary support measures to ensure adequate access to quality seeds for farmers. Janket Toure, GRTS News.
Imam Malik Islamic Institute recently organized its 14th graduation ceremony. The ceremony, as Kejetu Jallo reports, brought together Islamic scholars, parents, students, and well-wishers to witness this historic event.
After 12 years of intense learning at the Imam Malik Islamic Institute, 90 students are celebrating success for completing their first phase of education. The vice principal of the school, Ibrahim Jagana, hailed the graduates for their dedication and commitment to reach to this level. Jagana urged them to be good ambassadors of the school wherever they go. He thanked the parents for trust bestowed on the school in molding them to be better citizens. Kadiyatu Kande Drame, on behalf of the graduates, thanked the staff and management of the school for the support over the years.
I am confident that all of my friends would like to express their gratitude to all our dear esteemed administration and teachers, as we are always grateful to all of you. On behalf of myself and my classmates, I would like to express my gratitude to all of the teachers who helped us in our journey. A special gratitude goes to Ustaz Shondi Drame, who was a father, a teacher, and a mentor.
Several other speakers, including Basano Jamme, all gave a word of wisdom to the graduates.
You have all right to jubilate and celebrate upon your performance and success. The graduation today is not the end of your education. That's another level. The baccalaureate is there for the Arabic. and the masters is there that they can do in the Gambia here and outside. So keep up with the good work.
The graduation ceremony was punctuated with poems, dramas, certification, and awards to outstanding students. Khadijatu Jallo, reporting for GRTS News.
Well, we will now short break. The sports news is up next. Do stay. And over now, sports and to the World Athletic Championship in Oregon, United States, where later this evening, Gambia's Gina Bass will be in action in the women's 200-meter semifinals. Gina finished fourth in the heats on Monday, but secured one of the fastest losers timing to qualify for the semis. Gina will now line up against USA's Gina Prandini and Jamaica's Sherika Jackson for a place in the finals. The Gambia sprint sensation, who is the African champion in 100 meters, finished sixth in the last IAAF World Athletic Championship and will be hoping for a consecutive second appearance in the finals of the World Championship. Well, we will now go with another short break. The news continues in just a moment. Well, over now to the weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office. Before we go, a quick look at our headline making stories. President Barrow commissioned 33 new buses to improve urban transport services. The Gambia joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Population Day. The Gambia River Basin Development Organization, OMVG, is organizing a regional consultation workshop on Phase 3 of the development of its Integrated Development Master Plan. In sports, the Gambia's Gina Bass faces USA's Gina Prandini and Jamaica's Sherika Jackson in the semifinals of the women's 200 meters at the World Athletic Championship in Oregon, USA later tonight. And despite Ukraine's outward show of strength and resilience, frontline troops suffer not only physical wounds but also psychological ones. Well, viewers, that was all we had time for in this edition of the news at 2200 hours. But from me, Winifred Nicole, and the entire news team, thanks for watching and do have a peaceful night.